Now we just got two single guys here. This could get crazy. Sometimes I look at myself for a long stare in the mirror and I go, you're definitely for the streets. You know what I'm saying? And you just, I don't know. Do I accept it or do I fight it? That's some pretty good weed, I'm going to be honest. We're out here, my boy. We're flying the ship right now. It's me and you. Yeah. All right, we should wrap it. Let's wrap it.
Well, all right. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin.
Check.
Oh, here we are.
All right, boys, we're back. We're live. Strategy and Dolo Show, Party with Strategy podcast, depending on where you're at. We got the fucking kid in the building.
What up?
Shout out to my boy Keelan for joining us.
Welcome, Keelan.
Keelan,
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we have so many questions. Like, I know you a little bit, but I don't know you well. Like, your actual name is Keelan, right?
Yeah, Keelan Foreal is a made up part. The Foreal is
The for real. Okay. Now, if someone like, are you the type of guy that gets mad if someone doesn't say the for real part? Because some people are like, no, you got to use my whole name, like my whole shit.
I mean, when I'm DJing now, everybody just calls me Keelan.
Okay.
That's cool. Because I used to get mad when people wouldn't say DJ. And then I realized that I'm just fucking old. And well, not when they wouldn't say it, but when they would post like a flyer and just say Dolo. And I'm be like, but it's DJ Dolo.
You're like, I'm not a fucking EDM artist.
What about when they use like your old logo?
Oh, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
Bro, so this just happened to me. I gave him I had to delete the picture out of my like Dropbox thing that I have when people ask for your pictures. You know, they use the worst, oldest one. I'm like, you're not serious, are you?
Bro, my worst one, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking at the time. I might have designed it myself thinking that I was like doing some shit. And it looks like Star Wars. Do you remember that one? It almost looked like Star Wars. Like the D and the J goes into the D of Dolo.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Yeah, this was back in the day, but
I
it was like
if I saw that. John.
And then somebody used it on a flyer, not recently, but a few years back, and I remember I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's just like a fucking.
Do you leave it or do you tell the club like, "Yo, hey, like, are you gonna change my shit or are you gonna roll with the old one?"
I mean, it depends on like. I mean, I guess you should, right? I mean,
I'll ask for a new one for sure.
Those fucking out of town guys that get the red carpet rolled out for them want their
every
fucking
time.
M&M's chilled to 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And they get to fucking have an awkward dinner with the promoter. Those guys, they get to pick whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. Well, you gotta like push the boundaries to see if you can be that guy. You know, like true. Every time you're out of town or playing some new shit, you gotta you have to have that like little rock star mentality. You can't overdo it, and everyone's like, "This guy's a piece of shit."
A little bit of smoke and mirrors never hurts.
Yeah,
for sure. No, I remember like when we used to travel back in the day. You remember those days?
Yeah.
It was nice, getting picked up from the airport sometimes. But then some cities, like, you would pull up and, like, you would be expecting, like, that rock star greet. But, like, they just kind of, like, shelf you.
Uber, the yellow cab still?
They barely even have a flyer for you. And then, like, you show up and they're like, you can't come in. And you're like, no, I'm the DJ. They're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to think, like, I want to say, though. I don't want to use any names. I shouldn't out people.
Yeah, well, talk your shit, dog. Come on. You talked
we'll
about killing Sickick last episode. Let's fucking get it going.
How about Sickick? Do you think he got that?
I hope so.
His people?
All right, no, I need to get more information on my boy Keelan for real. You're an OG Houston DJ, right?
That's right.
You just told me before this you've been DJing since you were 16.
Yep.
It's a long time. I don't want to give away your.
I was gonna say, yeah. What do you mean it's a long time? You could be 24. You don't know.
Age at the moment. It's true. I mean, DJing keeps you young. Every time I meet a DJ that tells me how old they are and they're like older than me, I'm like, God damn it, let's go. You know what I mean?
Kind of gives you a little bit of
young,
a little bit of hope. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you hang out with all the young people at the club. I mean, they're always like 21, 24. So
yeah,
I mean,
sure. you kind of stay.
Yeah,
it's a fountain of youth.
Yeah, you'll fall off too if you start playing those old, the old jams like Black Eyed Peas. Like people are gonna be like,
I don't know, bro. That's what they're playing out here.
It's funny because now the Black Eyed Peas is becoming like the classics.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which makes me really feel fucking old because I'm like, I remember not wanting to play this because it was the new shit, and now it's
Kingston, baby, he's back. Who thought Sean Kingston would come back like that?
Did we talk about that?
We talked about it with Fawn.
Oh, we did talk about
it. You've been playing for a while too. I mean, back then, weren't you playing like 80s and shit too? Still a little bit, like that generation.
When I came into DJing, I came in 2003, right? And the cool shit was like at that time, like okay, so Houdini and Friends, right?
That's
yourself. 80s shit, like. Friends, that song, Houdini, so every hip hop DJ would use that in blends like all the time at the time when I first started DJing. And like now, if you were to play that, the people would be like, "This is like a fucking geriatric, like what the fuck is this?" I feel like I'm in an old folk song. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of almost have to like wash that shit out of your memory a little bit because, and in Chicago, the same thing. Around that era, a lot of people like the cool throwback was like freestyle. So like Diamond Girl. But now, if anybody was to ask for Diamond Girl, I'd assume they were like a fucking 60-year-old,
All the young kids are going to look at you like you're some fucking idiot.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
Cool, I swear.
That's how I felt if I were to have played Sean Kingston before hearing Fawn drop that shit and the fucking light the entire club on fire.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's the recognition that Sean Kingston got, because I would have never thought of all the people, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, will.i.am, he made some fucking classics. Timberland, yeah. They when I think of like that era, I'm like, these are the people that really deserve to get brought back. But Sean Kingston?
Yeah, I still am having a hard time digesting it.
It's a Houston thing. They just love hip hop. They love any like.
I don't know if I would call Sean Kingston hip hop, but that's
it's
like
light,
diet hip hop, radio hip hop.
It's hip hop.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Because you were talking about.
Isn't it all kind of like that today, though?
Yeah,
it's all fucking.
Not like Moneybag Yo. I'm like, all right, that's
yeah. I mean, it works.
Feels like street rap.
Yeah, I don't know. It all fucking sounds the same now. But that's me being old. What the fuck do I know?
Yes, but you said that this is now your second time around the sun.
Yes.
Now that Sean Kingston,
which is kind of like what he was saying,
are coming back. Right. I was gonna say, have you experienced this? Like. These songs are now becoming the classics. This is his second time experiencing this. This is my first
cycle. There's a cycle.
Right. It's like, I think it's like 10 years, right? 10 to 15.
Really, I feel like it's like 5 sometimes.
Well, think about it. Sean Kingston. What was that? Like 2008?
It was 9, 10.
Okay, so that's 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Even if I play a song from 2015, though, I feel like it's kind of old already.
Yeah, but is it like a classic yet, or is it just like an old track?
That's what you're trying.
There's
to
like that
out.
weird transition where it goes from just being like played out.
You're saying so to make it a classic, it has to go for 15 years, 15 years.
Yeah. But there's like a sweet spot because, like I said, so like if you think about like the DJM era, right? That was like what 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
The DJM era.
Yeah. So like the throwbacks he was playing, right?
And the quick mixing
and shit, but like that whole shit where he was like going from, because everybody's playing like Beyonce and fucking Jay-Z, right? And then he came in and was playing like AC/DC or some shit, right? So but if you think about it,
Girl Talk too,
or Girl Talk, yeah. All of them were like they were playing like even like fucking Stone Rock and them, like they were all playing like that rare 80s, not really rare, but like weird 80s that you really wouldn't think was a classic, but then it became a classic, which is kind of like what the Sean Kingston is. Like you wouldn't have thought he'd be a classic, but for some reason the youth is
it's resonating like that. Just that when they hear that song, it brings them back to that perfect time in their life when that was like the fucking they just started partying.
Or I don't even think they were. I think they just started listening to music.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like they're in middle school. It's the kids who are in middle school now who are the ones like vibing to that because that's what it reminds them of.
Exactly.
Yeah. And their parents listen to like Nirvana and stuff like that, which is also becoming kind of like cool again.
Oh, for sure.
We got to play into what their parents used to.
So the Nirvana, right?
Smells
like Teen Spirit would have been from 90 to 2007. Would have been what? Or was it 91, 92? Whatever. About 15 years, right? So that was right when people started fucking. Everybody had to remix it. You know what I'm saying? And then, 5-6 years ago, everybody wants to redo the Killers, which was. Let's say in 15 years.
Still playing that shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, it still works. It's an effective record. I wouldn't necessarily say I love it, but it's an effective record.
It's just
Let's get everyone dancing and singing. Play fucking
exactly.
I just have this idea in my mind about tracks that are corny, that are like these songs are corny, don't play them. And that's what those songs were to me for so long that I'm having to undo that now.
Yeah, it's
like,
difficult.
It's hard to play. Like, even though I've watched it set the dance floor on fire, for me to play it and like enjoy playing it and get the feeling that I want, and like for the people to look at me and be like, damn, like he's doing his thing, I have to like the song. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I'm trying to get myself out of that mind frame of like that shit's corny.
Well, I think that this is also like a change.
Always corny.
I think this is also like a change in era though too. Is like we've been for the last however many years in such a era of play the cool shit, like the Drake, you know what I'm saying? Like something makes me feel cool, you know what I'm saying? That like something corny is almost refreshing for the crowd, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference between the bottle buyers and then the crowd, right?
Yeah.
The bottle buyers, they want to be like,
they still want to be cool.
They want to be like sitting back, like I want to hear my tracks, but they don't really bring energy to the dance floor.
Exactly.
And then the kids who just want to come in and just rage and drink and fucking take shots all night long, they're going to sing along to all the cheesy shit because they're down to have a good time no matter what.
It's all about balance.
It is.
Yeah.
But
you got to make them both happy.
But
right?
I can definitely remember not too long ago, one of the spinners that comes in a lot of times, we have a good relationship. He sends me shots all the time, like kind of thing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he likes like the hood shit. Like if he wants a throwback, he wants like some UGK and shit, which I fuck with. That's like my shit. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm trying to get the crowd involved, so I remember I played like Icona Pop or something, and he looks at me like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like you let me down." And I'm like,
you're supposed to only DJ for me, okay?
Yeah. And I'm like, you don't understand. You know, I had to like, and this is like from across the room. I'm trying to explain to him, and he's just like,
I had to.
And then he sent me a text the next day and was like, yo, I had some dog in there and you made me look like an asshole. I'm like, bro, relax. It's only a fucking song. It's not that deep. I don't think he was really that mad, but it was kind of like...
Well, that's where I think it's gone a little too far. Is like, if I was going to go see DJ Am, I'm not going to fucking request a song or any other DJ. I'm going to show up to the venue. I'm going to hear what they're going to play, and I'm going to vibe out to it. It's like, it's just kind of interesting to me that people feel like they can just walk in and be like,
put a phone on their forehead and tell you to play Bad Bunny.
To play. It's like, I want to be like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to pull up, be like, you want write that email a little differently.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are you doing over here?
Yeah, how's that feel?
Just walk into their office and be like, send the email, put it on your forehead.
Fucking nuts, dude. But the music is like, these people think that like they get the aux cord when it's time, like when they're partying with their friends, they have the aux cord. They think they're that person.
It's definitely a sign of the times because like back in the day when the trust was solely reliable on the DJ because people couldn't even download music back then, 90s or whatever the era was.
Show it on your phone. Right?
Exactly. There was no way to fucking send that kite, right? So the only way you could get music was through the radio or a mixtape. So you had to be relying on a good DJ.
Yeah.
But now everyone can get any song they want at any second.
Fucking asshole.
There's just no...
It kind of loses its appeal because like you don't get like that surprise anymore. Like,
For sure.
I've never heard that song or...
I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But when back in the day, you would go to the record store and there'd only be 5 records of that one choice, and so you couldn't, only those 5 DJs that worked at the shop, they got it, and then
Straight
you were
up
fucked, and so you had to even dig even harder.
This guy's never seen a record before.
No, fuck him. He's full of shit. But I always say that. I say that is what I miss about vinyl. I don't miss fucking carrying the crates. That fucking shit sucks. But the intrinsic value of having the record that people don't really realize that when they think about DJing on vinyl was like you really had to find that and for some of the throwbacks like the AV8 white label shit that was like dope, you know what I'm saying, when you would play that but like people would never hear it because a lot of people didn't
and you could only play a track, you could only play so many per hour, right? Because you had to like put it in the thing and search for a little bit,
find it, and then so everybody had like their little routine, you know, like you're like, okay, I know when I get to this part of the crate, I'm gonna take 3 of them out and stack them on top of each other to like get through them quick, but like yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question for him now that we're in the vinyl era. When you started, it was vinyl, I'm assuming, obviously, right? What kind of music were you into? Like, what were you playing?
All East Coast hip-hop, all old school.
Oh, hell
Fuck with it, hell yeah.
And Big L, stuff like that.
Big L.
Let's go.
Now we're talking.
Finding like KRS-One, the typical classics and just like beat matching and, more scratching technique, right? Like, which you were like really good at.
Thank you.
Then, you know, and then just kind of stuck around in that area. Then I realized I'm not going to make money doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was in Houston. You were doing East Coast.
Yeah, but it's we were just doing like house parties, right?
Okay.
You know, no one would hire you because there was only the booth pimps. They kind of ran the city at the time, and they only
shouts to Johnny J.
Yeah, shouts to Johnny J. And the other guys. I don't remember
Ebonics.
all. And DJ Red was a part of it as well. And they basically and there wasn't many club options either. There wasn't like 30 clubs you could choose from. There was just like 5 solid ones, and they ran all of it. And it really, really took many years to like, because you know when the new club would open, they would just grab that DJ, right. So it was like hard to get in, and so
where at that time, where were the clubs at? Not Washington Street, right?
Well, they used to be downtown, and the downtown was packed, bro. Like I was DJing at a restaurant on a balcony, and it was nuts, dude. It was really cool. And then like Opus and M Bar and stuff like that. And then it just switched over to Midtown. And then you had like Bond and Escobar. I mean, some of those clubs I couldn't even get into. They wouldn't even let me in, you know?
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah,
back in Chicago.
I remember when Underground wouldn't let me in.
Yeah.
Could you like maybe the door goes like, give me that shit. Yeah, well, I got you.
That's the funniest shit that you bring that up, because when I was starting to get into the downtown scene in Chicago, it was like, because like there was a lot of clubs. It wasn't the same thing where it was like 5 clubs. Obviously, there was a lot of places, but like there was definitely like the downtown scene, and then there was like the Wrigleyville scene or the Wicker Park scene. You know what I'm saying? So like you kind of tried to get in where you could. Right. So to make it to the downtown was like the big leagues, right? And I remember the same shit. I'd have these mix CDs, and I'd see a DJ, but yo, man, I like what you do. If you could listen to this, you know, yeah. I'm sure they just fucking throw it away. Because I mean, it's kind of like when I get an email from somebody, and they're like, you know, hey, can you put me on one Sunday? Here's my mix, and I'm like, okay, it sounds like music. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, give me something more. But you don't really think that when you're younger. You think like, I'm putting everything into this mix. This is me.
You need to listen to this.
But no one's gonna take the time to sit there and fucking listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you make it is by listening to someone else who's giving you advice. And I feel like it's always the advice that everyone seems to have gotten is like, you need to be at the place that you want to work at. You need to go there.
That was never given me. That was the great. No, they never told me that. But I later realized that, and now it's the same thing we tell the young guys when they come around. It's like, you just got to go to the spot and be a part of that scene. Don't come in and just be like, yo, put me on. You know what I'm saying? Just come in and hang out and like create a relationship.
Work your way into the venue.
You know what I'm saying?
If someone's going to hire you at their venue, they want to know that you've been there so much that you know what's going on in there.
Exactly.
You know the music people are playing. You know the people are there. You know the vibe in there. Like, you're in there.
Yeah.
You know, they have trust in you that you could do this because you've been there so much. You're part of the facility. You know?
Obviously, when it comes to the out-of-town game, that's different.
Well,
because you can't be a part of every scene in every city.
But there are a lot of guys that travel around, and they don't do it like every weekend, but maybe once a month, maybe once every other month, they'll go to different cities, pop in, say what's up to DJ.
Well, a lot of times they'll get booked somewhere, and then they'll stay the whole weekend just to go to all the other spots.
Yeah,
and
that's how we do in Austin all the time.
Those are the cats that end up getting booked. You know what I'm saying? Because they've already got a first-hand relationship with them.
I was gonna say, back to the getting gigs too, man. Most of my biggest opportunities were other DJs sucking or shit crashed on them that night.
Oh, and you were on the bus.
And they were like, hey, the promoter was like, hey, you available right now? And I'm like, what's up? Yeah, I don't got shit going on.
For sure.
And he's like, well, come up here, man. Fucking, we need you to DJ. And then boom, and that's it. And then one was another guy where he just kept getting too drunk, right? Got that up.
Got a lot of gigs like that.
And then I grab and I hold on to it, you know. Sure. And then that clubs were popular, and then the new clubs would come, and then the new club owners come, and they come check you out, right?
Exactly.
And then it just kind of keeps going, and so it's like you have to wait for your opportunity.
For sure.
To do all
but it's
the
also
bullshit gigs.
You got to be around. There. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, like we said, I'm just reiterating is being there made you available, or being in
somewhat
that circle, so where they know to call you, you know.
And not even that they know to call you, but you were there like most recently. You're fresh in their mind.
Exactly.
You're the first person when shit's going wrong, and they know that every other DJ in the city's working. Then they're like, oh, Keelan's always in here. He's not doing shit because you're not working yet, you know. And then boom, that's it.
And that was the other thing is like there was so many times where I would have to like drop what I was doing. Like it'd be like I'd be out with my friends or out with a girl, and then it'd be like 11:30, and they're like, yo, how quick can you get here? And I'm like, bye, bitch.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll be there in 30 minutes. Yeah.
Shouts to Jesse Seeley and all of his toxic relationships, because that's where my start downtown came from.
Tight. I'm trying. I can't think of actually a specific DJ that I was able to just latch onto their.
I remember Architect would tell me that too. He'd be like, "Yo, this dude gets mad drunk, and a lot of people have to fill in for him. This dude, you know, like
knew it was coming.
The blueprint.
You're the one over there, like, here, have a shot.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, bro, what's up?
But at that time, he wasn't even drinking.
Yeah, I didn't drink at that time. I didn't drink. I didn't start drinking until I was 25 with Jesse Seeley, by the way.
Well.
Who's Jesse Seeley?
He's a Chicago
legend,
OG in the DJ game for sure. He was DJing in the clubs when he was like 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm huge into house music, and that's kind of why I got started. And you know, I've never been to Chicago, I've always wanted to, but I hear that the house scene out there is just like unreal.
Well,
it started.
It was.
It's probably changed.
Now it's changed. Like everything's kind of morphed into.
Miami was too, man. You can go to Miami, hear house music. It's not. I mean,
but I would say it's like this. I would say it's like this. Chicago to house music is like Houston to Screwed and Chopped. All right. So like when you're out of town, when you think of Houston, you think Screwed and Chopped, right? But when you get here, it's like, yeah, it exists and the slab exists, but that culture is so far disconnected from what we do. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you might play like, you know, a Big Mo track or something like that, and it kind of pays tribute to that. But at the same time, your set isn't based around Screwed Up Click shit.
Yeah.
House music in Chicago is the same thing. There are clubs that are dedicated directly to Chicago house, which is a much different house than the house that everybody knows, like the EDM shit, right?
No, it's like
soulful, vocal, yeah, shit like that. So that does exist in places
Disco
like
cuts.
Smart Bar, like Green Dolphin Street. There's a lot of places that do still dedicate hardcore to that.
Yeah.
But it's so disconnected from
mainstream.
The main shit, yeah.
Sure. I will say that it's coming back a little bit in Chicago right now because
the new generation,
they're sort of trying to stay away from hip hop. They're sort of trying to curate a different vibe.
That's how DJing goes. Like when I first started, it was like hip hop with like 80s, right? And then the whole EDM, and then it was like, well, it was hip hop 80s, and hip hop took over. Then it was EDM came out, and then trap. Those were all new sounds. And then you had the Black Eyed Peas, obviously a little bit before that, like 110 BPM. Do you notice the BPM trends ever when you're downloading music?
I always attributed that. Well, I didn't, not specifically. I mean, I do, because when Moomba came and became, everything had to have a Moomba remix, and then it kind of went to
105 BPM,
and then everything went to 77. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do see that, but I'll go even deeper. Is like mainstream music outside of like record pools. And I was watching this interview with homeboy from The Roots with the Afro, Questlove, and he was talking about, as a motherfucker is a genius when it comes to music, right? He was talking about how hip hop music correlated to the drug scene, and like if you listen to like the 80s hip hop, it's a lot like 116 to 120 BPM shit, like, you know, from like, yeah, because a lot of people were doing a lot of coke back then, you know what I'm saying? So they're all geeked up and they're doing. Then as the 90s came, coke was like looked at like crack is whack, and then everybody moved into like weed, and so everything kind of was like a 94 BPM to 95 BPM, and then ecstasy came along and EDM.
So here's the magical question: what music correlates with fentanyl? Where are we at?
Well, that'd be the Screwed and Chopped. That's.
I don't know. You got any? I try it out.
Once it slows down, just stops playing. That's
where does the fentanyl take us?
That's where that's at.
I think it's more the ketamine right now.
Is ketamine?
Is that hot right now?
Oh yeah.
Back in Chicago, ketamine was hot. Like
Spy Bar. You're in a K-hole. You walk into there. I've never done ketamine. I've been in a K-hole in Spy Bar. You know
it's
what I'm
like
saying?
Yeah, it's one of those fucking places just so hot.
Spy here. It was a crazy, amazing club, and the owner got busted.
Was it the same owners as a Spy Bar in Chicago?
No. But they did. It was downtown. It was a huge hit, and they got busted with the whole entire like drug
ring.
Like,
yeah. Well, wait, didn't that happen in the Chicago Spy Bar?
I'm sure, bro. That place is
the guy that used to run it.
Dude.
Remember?
That place.
Maybe it was the same guy. I mean, shit.
I mean, he literally got busted for a drug ring. I remember now.
It's possible.
That's funny.
Wow. It's still open to this day.
Well, it might be different owners. I don't know.
Blows my mind that place is still open. Shut down like 30 times since I've been DJing.
Does it really blow your mind though?
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
You're right. Actually, the Concrete Cowboy that was in Chicago was above Spy Bar.
Yeah, it was in the basement of Concrete.
I always wanted to go there and try it out, but it just never.
Do you ever play the Concrete down here?
I was their resident.
Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you gonna be back when Toto Santos?
Start Friday.
He's doing Friday. He's doing the opening.
What's the when is that? Get yourself a little plug in there while you're here.
Was this
Friday? Viewers, one of them
this Friday.
This Friday, grand opening.
If you're over 21 and in the
Come
Houston area, go check them out and then come see the Strategy and Dole show afterwards.
That's right.
Yeah, greatest party on earth, baby. All right, wait, let's get back to the timeline here. I like this. We can try and keep, if we don't smoke this weed, we can stay
balance.
focused and keep a timeline. You're doing 80s, not 80s. You're doing East Coast hip hop. You're getting into DJing. You're not really in the clubs yet. The booth pimps are running things. Like your first club gig, what era is that? What year? Like what music are you playing? What's going on?
Yeah, it's probably like 2008, 9, somewhere in that range. And there's this bar called Vintage, and it's basically this like frat bar, but it's like all LSU graduates and college parties, but it's like a place where people actually fucking got married. They met people. I mean, you could meet like qualified people there. It wasn't like
it's not like the cesspool.
Where's this place at?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing actually, and that ran for like 4 years, man, and that kind of dominated like a certain aspect. Like I said, like. Right now, everything's so mixed together, which makes it fun. I love that, but this was more of like an isolated club by itself, like over there off of Shepherd and, 59 area, Shepherd in West Alabama. And it was just like kind of an old rundown house. You know how like the whites like to party here, like a fucking wood bench and,
like all the stuff in the Heights kind of.
Yeah, just like basic as fuck.
Yeah.
So it was just like that. Ran that for quite a few years. And then Red Room opened up. That was in Kirby now. And then r.o.a.d opened up on Kirby, and that was a whole section of that Kirby and Westheimer where Mr. Car Wash is.
Kirby and Westheimer, that's where like the Pinstripes is, right?
Yeah, exactly. That used to be the club. That whole was a development.
Right where you did where we filmed the video, you scraping on the street, fucking sparking.
Okay, yeah.
Right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there. That was a place called r.o.a.d, and that was the clay of the day.
Okay.
And that ran for like 4 years.
That's a nice area. I don't know what it was then, but
that's crazy that it's
that's
moved.
Like the best area.
It's crazy that it's moved around.
We don't have
so much.
zoning laws here.
Oh,
so it kind of
you don't have to get grandfathered into a permit.
No, you can literally make your business wherever you want to.
That makes sense.
And so that's why you get a lot of complaints with the sounds and stuff like that. But that's also why you get developed areas, because these clubs come on where nobody goes, and then they show up in the restaurants and then the living, and then it becomes a whole area. Then they move to Washington.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that is like it's kind of fucked up. It's like a gentrification thing, right? Like people move to the area, but then it becomes, because people move to the area, the price goes up in the value. Right. So then the rich people come in, and then they complain about the fucking bars, and then you have to move. Right. It's like River North, like when we had Bottle Blonde. Before Bottle Blonde could even open, they had like a website to shut it down because these old farts who fucking moved to a neighborhood that has nothing but nightlife complain about nightlife.
It's like living on 6th Street and complaining it's too loud in Austin.
Yeah.
I've never been to Austin.
This man's never been to Austin.
You're missing out.
I don't know, man. It seems like a lot of liberals.
This is right wing Dolo, dog.
Man,
you don't go to Austin.
Definitely some right wingers out there.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe I'll go with you, because him and his pot smoking friends seem like they're going to the fucking beehive of fucking blue hair.
We're going to kill
freaks.
Tony, dog. That's where you fucking. That's where.
I would go to Kill Tony. Yo, let's talk about that, because I had never watched it. I finally have you seen Kill Tony? Kill Tony's like a comedian. Oh, you probably explain better.
It's a comedy show that they do every Monday night in Austin. It used to be in L.A. Tony Hinchcliffe, who's a comedian, it's his show. It's a live show, but they tape it, and it's a podcast, really. But you could watch it on YouTube. So me, Silas, and Tanner watch it every week on Monday.
Y'all smoke, get high,
we get high, we watch it, we laugh. We've gone a couple times.
Yeah. Now it wasn't
amazing,
but watching it's not a very liberal thing. He's joking about that, but like I had never watched it because I don't know, I have a life. But my girl was out of town, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come through. Came through, and I'm gonna be honest, it was fucking hilarious. I was crying laughing. It was pretty funny. So like they let people from the audience, like you put your name in a bucket, and then they draw you up to come do like stand up, and then they kind of roast you afterwards. Strategy went out there,
that's cool.
Put his name in the bucket, and went up.
No way, you got picked?
Yeah, I got picked.
He refuses to show me the video.
I did a minute of what Tony did not consider stand-up comedy.
Oh damn! So he really roasted you.
Fucking, yeah.
Yo, they said it was funny. Maybe it was more like laughing
to
at
watch
you.
Me bomb for sure. Yeah, that's funny. But I didn't do well. And then after he interviews you, this dude is like known for how quick-witted he is. So he'll interview you, and he's just kind of asking you stupid questions and like waiting for a joke to pop into his head to make. So he'll ask you, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm a DJ," and then he'll say some funny shit about DJing. It's just kind of like that. He roasts you.
He's just freestyling.
Yeah, he's freestyling. He's so unbelievably fast and funny. It's great. But let's get back to
wait for the person listening. Where can he find that?
I think it's episode 525.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. Yeah, I think episode 525.
I'm gonna look it up.
William Montgomery is the guest. Every episode has like a featured guest. William Montgomery is the guest on the episode that I was on.
Got it.
It's not great.
It's a little brutal.
It's hard for me to watch. It's really hard for me to watch.
It's like listening to your voice recorded is hard enough, right?
Oh.
But then like on top of that, bombing on comedy.
Yeah, dude.
That's going to be great. I might need to get some popcorn for that.
It's bad, yeah.
Why? Because your voice is so deep. It's like
it's not even the voice. I think it's just. Well, I mean, are you talking about just in general? Listen.
yeah. All right. No. All right.
For me, are you talking about just for hearing your voice, or are you talking about in general? So for me, I hate hearing my voice because it's higher pitched than it is in my head.
Gotcha.
Because it kind of reverbs off your skull, they say. So you always hear your voice a little like octave lower.
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten over it from like doing shit like this, but like when I'm DJing and I get on the mic and I hear it live in person, it's like fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get on the mic much. Yeah. That's not my thing. Are you a big mic guy?
Do you get on the mic?
Man, I get on the mic, but see, when we first started DJing, that was a no.
Yeah.
And they didn't want you doing that at all because it affiliated that club with the
urban.
the urban or the rap clubs, right? And they didn't want that affiliation. So, I mean, they didn't even do birthday shout outs. There was no mic on the DJ booth. And now, you're starting to have these clubs like, yo, man, like get up on there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. It's like, what do I say?
Yeah.
No, I find liquor helps.
Liquor
helps a lot.
Liquor pretty much helps everything.
Yeah, really. Except
it loosens
for
you up. And you get more confident. You don't give a fuck if you
sure.
slip up, whatever you say,
And you might say something funny after you slip up.
And when you do slip up, you go,
yeah,
hit the fucking.
So my thing is explosions. I find that explosions, that deafening silence, when you're up there, like if you say something and nobody responds, I just hit the fucking explosion. You can't hear anything. So
lighting this bitch on fire, baby. Let's go.
I'm like the fucking Funkmaster Flex of Bada Blonde.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Drop a bomb on it.
I mean, it's a skill, dude.
Flex.
It's definitely a skill, and I feel like.
And I a lot of people hate on people that are good on the mic. I give them the most credit because I'm like, the mixing is nothing to me. I could do it in my sleep, but like that's definitely a skill.
Well, that's why I like going to the black clubs too, man. Because you see, I mean, they're so.
We call them urban.
Urban clubs.
Listen, I want you to say whatever you want.
I'm totally joking.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? No, it's cool. You show up and you like, it's just a different vibe, and they're not necessarily mixing song to song.
Yeah,
they're like hold on. They bring
sometimes,
it back.
and it's better.
No, it's great, and then it's like because it's like a pause in a second, and then you get to kind of be like, all right, here's the next song.
You reset it.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're just blending on all that same BPM for a long time, it just kind of gets like stagnant.
Exactly, and that's what I learned from listening to DJs like that is that it gives two things. One, it makes it really easy to transition your tempo. Because like if you're doing a 70 BPM song, you can't really just unless you have a transition tool, which everyone's already.
It's so slow though. It
exactly.
Just takes like
doom. Yeah. That with this, you just cut it out, say something, boom, slam the next one. Also, playing the original version that has like some sort of weird thing in the beginning and then the beat drops, rather than using a 4-bar or 8-bar intro, which kind of just blends it in seamlessly and makes it kind of flat line. It gives it like a little bit more funk. Like you say something and then let's say like No Hands, right? It says, listen to this track, bitch. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like you open up that gateway to give that real intro to the song.
Yeah, and that's how people hear it when they play it. They play that shit on Spotify.
So they know that when they hear
that cut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just there's two different ways of DJing. I mean, there's a bunch, but DJing like house music, you go see these house guys and like they're playing a track for like 7 minutes and it's like, all right, I'm going to enjoy this track. I'm going to ride this magical wave.
Exactly.
Whereas like nowadays, every rap song, you can only really play for like 1:30. I mean,
at
when
max.
I first started, it used to be 2 minutes and 30 30 seconds. And it's just,
two verses,
you can see it going back and more to where it's like after the chorus, like people would go fucking, I call them zombie robots, They're just like,
The pop of the song has worn off, and they're like, all right, where's the next one?
Exactly. They just want that chorus. And I get so many versions of songs that are just the fucking chorus. And sometimes I'm playing it and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm just like running from chorus to chorus to chorus. And it'll work to get the energy up. But
it all fits with society, though. It's like our phones and like everything's so quick and commercials flashing and shit all the time. So it's like that you can see it over time. I've noticed it build up. That's why I like going to the house shows because it's like it's a different vibe. It's like almost like Indians dancing around a fire. You know what I mean? It's like tribalistic. Like everyone's been riding this fucking wave for the past 2 hours. EDM is a little different. It's got the huge bangs, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
The build-ups and the
Indians dancing around a fire, as opposed to bottle blonde, where you have Indians dancing around a bottle of Fifth.
Yeah.
Of one,
liquor.
they have Indians dancing around one small bottle of Tito's that they got at a discounted price.
But the thing is, like, okay, so the reason that the house clubs are better at doing that, I feel, is because when people go to those clubs, that's their destination.
there are no tables sometimes. too.
Exactly. And then they're
Everyone's
there. They're there for
equal.
the night. They're locked in. They pop their pill. They got a 4-hour ride on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So there's no rush to like keep them. With our work, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to like keep the people there. So how are you going to do that? Well, you have to
brain
keep
going.
energy up and constantly fucking stimulate them. You know what I'm saying? It's it's also the drugs too. I think cocaine and alcohol is a little bit less of something that's going to make people pay attention than being on.
Is there an era that you guys would like to go back to? Like walk around, party in?
Oh, you mean that I wasn't alive through, or
Yeah,
that I did live through? I would always, I think early '80s, like that, the beginning of house, the beginning of funk, like not really the beginning of funk. Obviously, '70s was like a funk thing, but the beginning of like the where funk became electro. You know what I'm saying? Like
Funkadelic?
yeah, well, yeah, because Funkadelic was around the '70s, but it wasn't until George Clinton started doing his own shit that it became like a lot more electronic. You know what I'm saying? So like the Atomic Dog and shit like that. Like that area to me, I love that music. You know what I'm saying? Patrice Rush.
You want to be in a club where they drop Atomic Dog and that
and
bitch
everybody just
goes
fucking goes nuts. You know what I'm saying? Probably at a skating rink with a fucking afro. That'd be me.
Lit. Yeah, that'd be lit for sure.
fun.
How about you?
I always felt like I missed the '90s because I was born in '89, so I was alive in the '90s, but I'm a young kid. Like I want to party in the '90s, like fucking Chicago while Jordan's on fire, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I got to imagine at that time in a nightclub, what kind of music were they playing? Like some good '90s hip hop,
Well,
right?
Well, that
talking
goes
too
back
old
to what you're saying earlier with the music, and that what's hot now is because what you heard when you were in the first 10 years of your life brings back like nostalgic
For
childhood
sure.
memories, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm the same. I'm 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like all the 80s era because I get to see my parents rip it,
Right.
do things like that. But
I think it all boils down to like what song was playing when you were conceived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What were your parents listening
Do
to
you
when
think
you
that has
swam
a
out of
re-
that fucking
because they're
dick?
jamming that shit.
You know what I'm saying? And you're fucking swimming through you're like, this is cool. I'm out of the nutsack. You know what I'm saying? It resonates with you.
You think you can remember that from when you
Yeah,
were a
it must
little
have been
sperm cell?
Parliament. Yeah.
So man, you got to be fighting those other sperms to get to the egg.
It was a wild race. You know what I'm saying? But we
And
made
you
it
fucking
through.
made it.
We made it.
Good shit.
So with that, what would you say in the nightclubs in the '90s? So here's like, to my understanding, right? Again, in the '90s, I wasn't in the clubs. I was in the under 21 clubs, but it was a totally different thing, right?
Right.
But I think it's like if you went to like the Tunnel in New York, right? Then you would get like that real hip hop shit.
Yeah.
But I think most of the clubs, like if you listen to like pop music back then, like what was like the pop music, like Sheryl Crow and shit like that. So like the nightclubs weren't like they are now.
No, alternative. And
Yeah, you were like
Nirvana,
hearing like
Red
fucking
Hot Chili Peppers.
If you were, let's just keep it real. If you were white, you weren't probably going to much hip hop clubs back then.
Especially
It wasn't
in
as
Chicago.
integrated.
it wasn't as like
Yeah.
mainstream as well.
Exactly.
I mean, you had the records being sold, Tupac and Biggie, but
Right, but, like-
that was the moment. It was like all kind of like coming together.
Can you, if it was this difficult in the 2010s to play hip hop in a multiracial club,
Right.
imagine in the 90s.
That makes sense for sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And club culture wasn't as big of a thing. Like if you look at movies, like especially like in the mid 2000s, like there was always a nightclub scene. You know what I'm saying? Like they went to the club and met.
Yeah, it was like Blade. I always think of
If
Blade.
you watch the 90s movies, there wasn't really
Oh, that
nightclub
song
scenes.
from Blade. That
they first walk
fucking-
in.
Yeah, that was like the idea of a club. Like Neo. Remember Neo?
Yeah.
With the fucking vampires?
Vampire bar.
It was literally, they had
Yeah.
fucking people that were like real life vampires that would go to this club. And
That
they
was
would
a-
play like.
Actually, was a club here called Drake,
Okay.
and it looked like a vampire fucking.
And they
huge
played like
dungeon.
really terrible techno.
And actually, man, they played. It was like more like pop and hip hop pop.
Yeah. This one they played, you know what they did play that was cool that like there was like that new wave, like New Order shit like that.
Yeah, love
I
that
fuck
shit.
with that shit.
I fuck with that.
You know what I'm saying? And this was like a club that like specialized in it. So I'll take that back. You know what? The 90s, especially in Chicago, there probably was like a lot of house music happening. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
definitely house for sure.
That's when all the raves were going to. See, like back then, I would go to these raves.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the record store, buy some records, check out the rave lineup, see which one I wanted to go to, pick it, go to some like 30-minute like, I don't know, like warehouse way off in the city that I didn't know at the time.
For sure.
And then you go to those raves, and they were grungy as fuck, man. A couple like tin lasers, you know, a bunch of speakers, and everybody was just like fucked up. You know, and you'd go there till like 6 a.m, something like that.
Then you get in your car, fucking still high on ecstasy.
Yeah, you didn't know how to get home. You'd have to like pull over on the freeway, and be like, yo, which way towards downtown?
Yeah, there's no fucking, you got an atlas in your car. Yeah. No, but fucking, and then you leave and you have like 50 flyers for other fucking raves on your shit. And you're like, I don't know what this is. Bracelets. But at that point, you're like coming down. You're like, I don't ever want to go to a rave again. Fuck this. I need a shower.
Hell yeah.
I knew my parents knew what I was doing because I would post those on my wall, you know?
Yeah, they're like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, so how many times you done ecstasy?
Yeah.
Look at you now, though, bro. You made a whole fucking career
out of it, yeah.
So it's 2003, you said, right? You're on Kirby and Westheimer.
No, that
2009.
That was like,
8?
No, dude, Kirby was, by then it was like 2000. Yeah, 10, 11.
All right,
it's one of the last years
like
before
4 years, you know,
before the Mayan prophecy came true and we all died.
Yeah, it's 2010. You're on Kirby and Westheimer. You're fucking DJing, and you started Interloop, right? Is that correct?
I did because Booth Pimps wouldn't let me join.
Okay.
Oh,
there was a beef back in the
But
day.
it's before. It wasn't just that. It was also, remember when blogs were coming out?
Oh, yeah.
Music blogs. And I was
Blog
like,
House.
I want to create this like blog where I had one called Kibbles and Beats. Like that was like, I like that.
that.
And I would just like try and like upload music and, you know, kind of share and form. And I would actually hit up other DJs and be like, hey man, you want to like get together, like brainstorm, like
let's build.
And they would be like, why? Why do you want to do that? And, you know, a lot of those guys ended up hitting me up later on.
I'm sure, dude. That's how it works.
Remember?
But they don't get it. Those are people that don't get it. You got it early. You got it before anyone else, it sounds like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
network.
Because when you work together and shit, and we can all grow as a community and as DJs and be better than, you know, the fucking whatever else we could be, the janitors, you know what I mean? Like when our whole industry is doing well, when we're all working together, we all win.
When you fight against each other, all you get is people undercutting, the rates go down. Like
that was the worst thing. It was like everybody's like, I'll do it for $100.
Yeah.
You know?
And then it's like, motherfucker, we have to make it. You can go be a teacher on Monday morning, but we make a living out of this, so don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows this guy, and so I'm not going to say his name. But
Let's go. We need the smoke. We need a little spice. We need some views,
even if he heard me, he would laugh, you know. But at the end of the night, he'd be like, "You are 10 minutes late, so I'm going to pay you $150 tonight." You know. And
Wait,
like,
does he own a valet company now?
No, he did towing actually.
Oh, okay.
And hookah before that.
Oh, you don't say. He sounds like he did hookah.
Yeah, you know.
It does sound like a
Character
hookah guy.
though. He's made it. He's an American dream too, though. He was a tow guy, and now he's like multi-successful.
Nice.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, so when did Interloop start?
Oh man, it's a good question. Definitely 2012, maybe 13.
10 years in the game. That's
Okay.
fucking pretty
Yeah.
strong.
Man.
Was it just you, or was it?
It was
like
just
you
me, and I was
homie?
like doing my thing by myself. And then I met Jeremy. He came up to me at Kung Fu one night and was like, "What's up, man? Like, we should like hang out sometime." And I was like, "I've been trying to hang out with other DJs, but I don't even know who you are."
He's like, hey, and you're like, why?
Yeah, and so like he gave me his number, but I caught a good vibe from him. And then he came back like 2 weeks later. And he's like, "You never called me, man." You know? And I was like, "All right,
Fuck,
cool."
I gotta hang out with
So
the
he
guy.
came over on a Sunday, and we like hit it off immediately because he liked some of these like indie funk shit that like everybody else was just like hip hop only. And I was
Ooh,
like,
indie funk. I was definitely into that era. That was around the blog time too.
"Yeah, so it was
like
great."
blog house shit.
Are you talking like Crystal Castles kind of vibe?
Crystal Castles, Chromeo.
Fuck yeah.
You know, I mean, dude, there's a ton. I can't think of off the top of my head, but
Breakbot.
Breakbot.
I loved all that shit.
It was fun.
I loved that shit, but like,
Yeah.
At the time, yeah, for sure. At the time though, like, I always wanted to be a part of like that LA scene, but like in Chicago, like in Wicker Park, they had like clubs that would play that, but like for some reason, I never got
in LA.
affected by those
It was
kids.
huge in
I don't know if my fucking jeans weren't tight enough, or if I needed another leather jacket, but for some reason, I never really got accepted by them. So I just kept doing the hip hop shit, and I would play it in like the beginning sets, you know, the early sets of the night. But like Aeroplane, I used to fucking love Aeroplane.
Well, I went to LA, and that's why I wanted to get in touch with another DJ because they had the computer going, and they had just 2 turntables, and it was like as soon as he had found his song and he was ready to scratch it in, the other guy was already looking for his other song, and so they were doing like Madonna, Rolling Stones, and like a hip hop song, and it was like these quick cuts, and I was like, all right, that's how they're doing it,
For
you
sure.
know? And so I wanted to find somebody I could vibe with like that, and Jeremy was that guy, you know, but he was like younger, so I had to kind of like help train him and stuff like that. And
Okay.
make his mistakes and watch it. Like, hey man, make sure you double check your DJ bag. Don't forget your charger. You know.
Yeah.
He gets to the club. He's like, "Oh, my charger."
I still fucking do that sometimes. So.
That's like that story in the AM documentary where the Asian dude's talking. And he's like called AM and he's like, bro, what do you do when your Serato fucks up?
You mean Ben
like,
Baller?
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. It was just, it could have been fucking Jin. I don't remember who it was. He calls.
It was actually DJ Ebonics.
Yeah, right.
Shout out Ebonics. What up? Love you.
It's another Houston classic.
Have you seen that? Have you seen the As I Am, the AM documentary?
I'm sure I have. It's just probably been years. I mean, have you seen the Scratch documentary?
Oh, I grew up on that. Okay. Honestly, when I first started DJing, that was right around the time when that came out. Because I didn't know any like older DJs. That's why the Dolo was like solo, because I like tell myself I DJ or whatever. That was my thing. So like in the bonus DVD, there was like a Z-Trip How to DJ thing, and it was like set your cue point here, because obviously we're on vinyl back then
with the fucking thing.
With the sticker. And then he's like, if you want to jump to a cue point, put a round sticker here, and it'll jump the needle over. Yes. And so like in 2003, you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't like YouTube was around, but it wasn't like you could go on YouTube and just find anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this to me was like that, and there was a book called How to DJ Right. Do you remember that book? It was like this thick, and it was like all drawn out, like all the tutorials were like drawn out, and it was probably made in like 98 or something like that. So a lot of it was like house shit, but like it would draw like lines for like, which is pretty much a primitive way of how Serato is. Like it shows the waveforms, but they would draw them out, and they'd be like, this is a snare, this is a kick, and it'd be like, this is how you line these up. Got you. You know, and how to read it in your brain.
For me, it was all ear first because there was no visual, right? Same with you.
Yeah, listening to mixtapes was.
I would listen to the radio, and especially 97.9 The Box. I mean, it was still going back then, and you'd hear the guy DJing. And
who was DJing at the time?
I don't remember.
Okay,
that I don't remember.
I for me, it was like listen to the radio, because they always had the 5 o'clock mix and the 10 o'clock mix and shit. But more than that, when I first started, I wanted to be a mixtape DJ. So I didn't realize that like the mixtapes were like produced. I thought it was all live. So I'm like trying to figure out how the fuck they're running from this record to this. And so like I was like I started doing like stupid ass shit. Like I was like, well, if I get a third turntable, then I can have an acapella on here and then transition through these beats and then run a loop in, because the 600 had that fucking roll, the loop or whatever, and I put a loop in here, and I'm doing all this like ridiculously crazy shit. And then later somebody's like, they use a 4-track and they just record one and then they record the other. I'm like, oh yeah.
See, I didn't even know that still.
And then I got I mean like DJ Trixie is like the only guy I can think of, and Ron C from not the Ron G, but Ron C's from Texas. Ron G from Harlem was a guy who did 3 turntables in his mixtapes. And he was like the first guy to blend like hip hop with R&B like in the early 90s. So like that's like where like the whole Mary J. Blige shit came from, was because Ron G was making mixtapes with like the beat of Audio 2 over like an R&B track. Fun fact.
What about when vinyl was switching from CD, and like there was a whole argument going on?
Oh yeah, well I was in the hip hop scene at that time, so like in hip hop it was like, oh, if you're on CDJs you're a bitch, you know what I'm saying? But the house music guys had been doing that since the 90s. They'd come in with their book and their fucking CDs, and that's where I learned actually how to jam the box. I was actually meaning to talk about this the other day on an episode when we were talking about how I was at Lincoln and those guys fed me to the wolves.
Yep.
And it brought me at the time, in that split second, it brought me back to this memory. So back in the day, like when I was just trying to get my name out there and shit, and I was playing whatever the fuck I could get, I had an older cat who was like giving me some bullshit gigs here and there, and he would beat me up about shit, but like a lot of that like helped me be a better DJ now that I look back on it. But so he gave me this place called r.o.a.d, which was like, do you know of r.o.a.d? It's like a pool hall in Schiller Park. You know what I'm saying? Funny story, I met Kevin down there one time. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So they didn't even have like turntables there. They had this like rack mixer. Have you seen those?
Yeah, the old rack, which is like a play and pause.
It had play pause, 2 CDs where you could enter in. And this didn't even have the jog wheel. It just had the up and down pitch.
Yeah, and you had to
play and pause, right?
The play and pause, but you could speed it up by
exactly. Yeah. If you push it way forward and pull it back down. So at the time, I had never DJed on anything other than turntables. And he's like, "Yo, play right now." He's like an 80s DJ. He's like, you got to jam the box, bro. And I was like, what the fuck is this? But like, I'm doing whatever I can to get a gig. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to do it. So he gave me his CDs. It's already difficult playing through somebody else's arsenal, but I'm like doing it. And anyways, I ended up fucking crushing it, so I was very proud of that.
But back then, you would go to clubs and everybody had a different setup.
Exactly. There was no real industry standard.
There was no standard.
Like the 1200s and the 600 was probably the closest to industry standard.
I've tanked on getting opportunities like that where you show up and the bass was so hard that the needle was falling off the record. And
sure.
And they're like, you don't know how to mix right. And I'm like, well,
I remember every time I would go into a club, I'd have to fucking reset the weights and I'd run through needles because you had to, because if you had it light on that bitch and the bass hits, it's skipping around. Some clubs would have like a pillow pads underneath them that would help, but for the most part that wasn't it.
See, you didn't have to go through any of that, did you?
I did not have to do any of that,
but he did actually do a vinyl set once or twice.
I did a vinyl set
and I hooked him up with some records.
yeah
It's so easy now, you know.
Do you still have your vinyl collection?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
What do you got?
Like most mode records and shit.
That's dope.
Yeah. Nice. So when did Interloop, or how, like, you start Interloop, and then what's your like formula to start taking over? So
all these clubs started popping up left and right, and at the time there wasn't really like a ton of DJs anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was like too many clubs for the booth pimps to handle, because they were running it, right?
They were running it, but they were stuck over at like they just had their own venues. You know, I wasn't really following every move they were doing, but I just started getting hit up in all directions, and so I was like, dude, I need DJs. You know, I can't. You know, I'm losing out on all these opportunities. So I thought,
because a bunch of clubs wanted you on the same night, I'm assuming, right? And you're like, I'm here, I can't be here. I need to get someone to play over
here. But
I
wanted to play at that place, right?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be able to hop around, but also have a standing gig as well. And I mean, it's taken time. Now it's, you know, it's, as you can see, we've have a lot of spots now, but that wouldn't even be possible without the other guys being good.
For sure. Shout out to Henson.
And you guys are out of just Houston now, right? When did you
No, we
start?
because we have friends in Dallas, we have people in Toronto, we know guys in LA, and so like gig sharing, you know.
For sure.
And so they can go to LA, or they can come to Houston, we get to go to LA, or vice versa, whatever. It works like that.
Now, let me ask you this. While we're talking gig sharing, so one thing that I never liked about gig sharing, and the reason why I guess I didn't do as well, I probably didn't take advantage of it as much as I could have.
Yeah.
Was that, do you ever notice in gig sharing you don't get the same love when you show up to a city? Because it's like when you get to
earn that shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you use it the right way and you crush it and you come back, then they treat you right. But like, where if a club seeks you out, then they like are hyping you up to their staff, like, yo, we got this guy coming, he's dope. Whereas if it's a gig swap, it's kind of like, okay, it's just another DJ. They almost treat it like a local DJ.
Right. Well, that's why we kind of up the standard a little bit. Be like, you know, we'll make the flyer for you. We'll help you with the promotions. We'll send you the stuff. You just promote it for us. And then you got playing in Austin and playing in Dallas and in Houston are, you know, they're all completely different.
For sure.
And, you know, the tracks don't necessarily always work. And like if you play at Greenlight, they're not going to want to hear you play UGK. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you don't play that UGK here, like, you know, it would hit much better here than it would there. And Dallas tends to like a lot of dance, but things have changed there too. You know, it's just kind of like the club, what they want, right?
Yeah.
You know,
it
makes you better.
Absolutely.
I was going to say that. I shared the same feelings as Dolo, where I'm like, I'm not leaving town on a gig swap because it's corny, and I'm also not leaving town for $500. I'm only doing it for $1,000. Like, I thought I had this standard, but now I realize that I sort of fucked up, because I could have been so much of a better DJ, because you're traveling the country playing different rooms, learning how to DJ for all these different people.
They're not necessarily just wanting what you do. You have to adjust to them
on the fly. Yeah. I don't really like coming in and playing for just 2 hours. I want to show up. I want to play the full 4-hour gig.
Yeah.
I want to get in there and warm up and like feel it out.
Because then by the time it's peak hour, you're like,
you got all the
now you're warmed up and you're ready to fucking.
It's different if you're a traveling DJ and you're famous, right? And you show up, you already have your preset set.
Yeah.
That's why they're up there. They're not looking at the computer, because they already have the next song dialed in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that city is not going to hear your set.
And you don't really,
Multiple
I mean, like, you might have like a track that like is like part of that set list that defines you, but like you're not really trying different shit, because you can only really use what you know works. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to come in and make that motherfucker go off. You can't really take the same risk.
What about getting bored though? Like, what if, like, let's say you have this badass set you play, and then the next week you're like, I'm just gonna play that same set because it just went so good. But then it's like you're just re-clicking your history, and you're like,
I've been guilty of doing that. I'm gonna be honest.
I do too, because I keep it open and with the other stuff
for sure. I mean, like, I don't just play out of my history, but here's what I do with the history. If I'm having a night, like, you know, when you're in a funk and you're just like, I don't fucking know what the fuck to play, I'll be like, when was the last time I got crushed? I'll be like, Thursday was good. And then I'll go back through there and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to play this track. And then that'll kind of get me excited again. And then I go back into the other ones. So I don't just play the whole set list, but I do like to have that feature.
Finding new songs, you make mistakes, you know, it didn't work out. But then the ones that do bang out, you're like, fuck, that was great. I haven't heard that song yet, you know, in a while. You know, like you're saying the Kingston song. You're like, you probably had it in your computer for years.
For sure.
But you just
damn right, I got that.
Well, here's the problem with the crates for me is like, I have like my crate, like my main crate, right? It might have not my all crate, but like a main crate that I use when I'm DJing, and it might have like 300 songs in it. But I'm fucking always using it. So like when I'm scrolling through and looking for a song, I'm like, I've already looked at these songs for 700 hours. That I'm like, if I don't reset that crate at some point, like I fucking like have
mental. How many songs are y'all downloading a week?
I just got into the downloading music a lot game. I was
slacking. Bro.
I was slacking for sure. That's one thing I was slacking on. But now I have this illegal Spotify download thing, and I love it.
What?
You fucking heard me. You fucking heard me.
I heard you, but I didn't experience the love.
Oh, I know what this is.
Wait,
you know about this?
I know this.
Is this the? I don't know this. Why don't I know this? Why has no one told me?
With peak, right?
No,
the last word.
I think it's called Tunes Pat.
Oh, okay.
Mine. There's probably multiple.
Peak Pat Graham.
There's
should I say it or should I leave
say it?
Yeah,
say it. Let's give our viewer the
I get arrested. I get arrested. Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay, how does that work?
I mean, Henson showed me, you know.
Dude, that guy's a fucking. He's a
wait.
Nerd.
So
he's a nerd in the best way.
Is it a website?
He's a computer fucking nerd.
Wait, so is it a website?
Yeah, it's something like a website, pretty much. Yeah.
Something like a website, or is it like a torrent thing?
No, it's definitely a website. It's just the way it's structured on there. It's different.
It's like
not
deep.
like. Yeah, then you got like the SoundCloud downloader.
Well, I know that shit, but I'm saying this works with Spotify.
I'm just saying you can type in any song in there.
My shit literally works through Spotify, where it's you download this app and you log into your Spotify in this app, and then you could download anything off of there.
As soon as we get off the air, you guys are showing me this shit because I'm still fucking trying to rip shit off YouTube from sites that are giving my fucking computer
I'm
HIV.
Going back right now. I'm going back and downloading all of my shitty YouTube rips that are fucking 100 kilobytes or whatever it is. I'm re-downloading.
Wait, so these are 320?
At the big clubs, the good owners are gonna go, bro.
Yeah,
that
you
song
can hear the
sounds
difference.
like shit.
Yes.
Don't fucking play that.
100%.
And so they're on their shit too, though.
So back in the day, I was real big on YouTube rips, like that's all I did. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously I had like DMS or whatever, but I always felt like it was corny. Like the songs they would have.
Crooklyn Clan.
Oh yeah, I had Crooked. I spent a lot of money on Crooked Clan. A lot of fucking money. I still probably write on my taxes that I'm downloading off the fucking Crooked Clan.
You're like still a member.
Yeah, exactly.
Spent
but it wasn't a member. You had to spend like $8 sometimes per download.
Per download.
So you're fucking downloading like 30 songs for your weekend. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But there was some great shit on there. But yeah. So then. I don't know, like I feel like sometimes like DJ City and shit like this, like except for Club Killers, which is a great page.
You're goddamn right. Subscribe to the clubkillers.com.
Club Killers is dope because they have like playlists and stuff like that. But like some of the other sites, you get tired of like playing the same shit everybody else plays. So like it might be a dope remix, but every other DJ's fucking playing it.
That's the problem I feel like today is like we're stepping in and every club is selling the exact same story.
Because it's so easy to log into that page,
download
the fucking top 10, and then fucking go on about your weekend. Yep. But when you go into like a place like YouTube,
Spotify.
You can, or Spotify, but Spotify not as much, I would say, because Spotify, you don't have as many like illegal white labels. So like on YouTube, some fucking kid in fucking Australia might have made a dope ass remix or something that like nobody else would find unless you really take the time to dig through YouTube.
That's what separates you from other DJs.
Exactly, and that's why I always liked really being into YouTube. And then when I moved here and I got my backpack stolen, it kind of fucked me up a little bit.
Oh, when your shit gets stolen, it's the fucking worst.
It almost made me.
Oh, multiple times. Me and Silas.
Really?
We were going to Spire after hours, and at the time, my car was busted. So when I put my key in my car, my trunk, my pocket, my trunk would open. And so we like threw our bag in the back. We're gonna run Aspire for a couple hours or like an hour or something for after hours. And then when I get back, my trunk is open. I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
Damn.
And we lost everything. And thank God Jeremy had the device that basically when you come home, it automatically takes your any new downloads.
Like the time machine.
Time machine, yeah.
Yeah, and so without that, I probably would have quit.
Bro, I got fucked. Fucked. I hadn't backed up my computer in like 3 years, and I fucking I found that backup eventually, and and it was on a broken hard drive that I had to freeze in order for it to work to extract the sum of the music out of there. But anything within the last 3 years, I lost all that shit, and it made it like it kind of discouraged me because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna rebuild it. And it's like I had so much time invested in like
it's the time that you think about that makes you not want to fucking actually go in there.
Saying it's like and like so much like cool shit that like when you have those crates of like, you know, your rare dance halls or whatever the fuck, it's like great to just go in and hit them. But like I lost all that shit, so I'm slowly rebuilding, but it's not the same. You know, I don't know. I
felt so bad. I gave Stylus everything I had. I was like, yo, here, man, like take all of this music that I've been doing for 16 years. Here, click, you know.
Yeah,
pay it forward, baby.
And also that'll help though if you give your library to someone else.
If they have to help you out when you get,
well, they don't have to. Yeah. Well, they will. But if your shit gets stolen, he's got all your shit.
I had a lot of edits that I made that I'll never get back because I'd never shared them with anybody because I was like, fuck you. I fucking spent time making these edits, and they're edits that like I would mainly make them because I couldn't find them on any other pages. So like now I can't find them, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So Interloop's rocking. What's like if there's one defining or one of like the defining moments of your career, like maybe like your first big gig that you got, some DJ got too drunk and you fucking were ready to fill in.
That was at Proof.
That was at Proof?
Roof. I don't know. I think it was Roof and then called Proof.
We had a Proof in Chicago.
But it was Proof and it was outdoor, huge, bro, like 8,000 square feet. Patio upstairs on a rooftop.
Jesus.
And it was in Midtown and the wind was blowing and it just was like epic. And that ran for probably like 4 years. And then Clay came and they gave me the opportunity to work for them. And that was a huge deal for me. I felt like because it was the first club that raised the standard. We're going to have premier sound. We're going to have premier lights. We're going to have a light guy, like premier shit.
Right.
And so that was that, and then Concrete Cowboy came in, and those two guys, they had the premier sounds, the light guys, just everything about the establishment was great.
Raised the bar. For the
that rate. So now all the clubs are building $1 million clubs now. Right?
I think in Chicago, I mean, like
standard.
There was always like standard, big club, but like I feel like when Mannequin came, that's where like obviously Crowbar was huge and shit, right? But like when Mannequin came and like their stupid impressive lighting system, then everybody started like raising their bars. Mannequin later became the mid.
Okay.
And then so on, etc. Wow, this is the most DJing talk that we've ever done on this show.
Yeah, this is a lot of music and DJing talk.
I think normally we what's your opinion on bitches?
Yeah, left to our own devices, we talk about dick pics usually.
Yeah, dick pics, porn addiction. You know, the things that matter.
Yeah, the things that really keep us going.
Speaking of things that matter, we have to work tonight. All at separate locations probably. What time is it right now?
I think it's probably 9:17 right now.
All right, well, let's
we're out here.
Probably about time to wrap it up in a minute.
Yeah, we could wrap it. I want to say you were talking about house music and DJing house music and doing it differently, like letting songs play out a little bit longer and all that. The only time I heard you DJ was at Pretty Liar on the patio, and we were in fucking Tulum, baby. And that was inspiring because I've never really gotten into that genre of house music. Whatever, like what genre is that you were playing
like
there?
Melodic house, tribal house, Afro house.
That shit was fire.
Like the Whoopin' Lamb kind of shit?
It's just the shit that I'm hearing when I go to fucking Ibiza and, Mykonos and Tulum. And you got to go and you got to experience the right way. Like this weekend, Mayan Warrior, Saturday night. It's going to be epic. These guys are from the Burning Man. right?
Oh shit!
And so they break apart and they go on these like little tours throughout the United States, and it's in Austin. It's like a blessing, and they bring their local DJs in. It's just a totally different.
Are you going
vibe.
to it?
Yeah, I'm going to it. Yeah, I got tickets and all that shit.
Hey,
So
well, I Shazam the fuck out of all your shit, so I got it now. And
yeah, I mean,
downloaded
I'm
it off
Shazam.
Spotify.
Yeah, you're asking him. You should know now.
That shit from the other guys, you know.
I gotta fucking start using my goddamn Shazam more.
It's great. It's just different. It's just a like I said, it's a magical journey. You're not gonna. It's highs and lows and turns and
the way that you mix the songs too. If I would have just gotten those songs, I would have mixed them in my own way, like how I mix them, which would have been wrong.
Right, a lot of scratching and
whatever.
It doesn't work with it.
Yeah.
You can loop though.
But
you gotta let the song progress.
Yeah,
you can't just loop one bar in it and then
hearing the song, I'm like taking the bass off and let that ride for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and then like hitting it with the other track, boom, coming in, like it's just different.
The way that you mixed it opened my eyes to like a whole different shit. You guys
aren't an open format DJ, or what do you consider yourselves?
I consider myself
open format, but more club based, where I don't want to. I want the song to drop at like that one spot that everyone knows and they hear it, and then I'm out into the next one. This was you're letting songs play longer. You're coming in at not necessarily like the epic drop.
Right.
You're kind of letting it breathe, letting that song bring itself to the epic drop.
Because it's minimalistic sounds, right? So it's like. You're going to hear the conga come in, then you're going to hear the hi-hat come in.
Yes, the way that it was all building, I was like, oh, this is dope.
It's a different ride.
I think a lot of it also is because we fucking play the same place almost every goddamn night.
Yeah.
At least for myself, I can say that.
Well, it goes back to downloading, though.
Well, yeah, but even download. Okay, so like...
I would be like, here's a track, I'd be like, okay, this one's for like a salon party or fucking...
That's what I'm saying. So like before pre-Houston, right? When I'm playing 10 different clubs in a week, there is a club where I can go and I could play a deep minimal tech shit. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a club where I can go in and play fucking rock hits. You know what I'm saying? But like there's a stage for each kind of style that I'm doing. And for me mentally, that was great because I never got attached too much to one thing and I felt liquid and nothing got boring.
Yes.
But now it's like, all right, I'm playing this room and I know what this room wants and I know what this room needs, but I'm playing the same thing. But the blessing of residency is obviously you got your check coming. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
the worst part about it though, not that that's going to happen to that venue, but is when it dies and you haven't been jumping around and meeting new people, and because it's always harder in any job to get a job when you have a job.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yes, for sure, because you're not available necessarily when they need you.
Yeah, and it's like they're like, so what are you doing right? Like, well, I'm not really DJing anywhere right now. So then you look like the DJ who's...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was thinking the other way is it's hard to fucking do that on their feet. Because here's the thing, right? So if you're DJing at a residency almost every night a week, it's hard to get out and see the other venues because you're already working. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So
you got to sacrifice
that for me is also a difficulty. It's like...
Dude, it's like knowing the fucking bartenders, bro.
Yeah.
Knowing the bartenders definitely...
Because they'll be like,
that's
hey,
always
man, this guy sucks, dude. Why don't you use Keelan or whatever?
That's always like a good anchor. When you show up to a place and they're like, this guy sucks. We'll put okay, you know what I'm saying? But like, then you got to be that asshole who fucking takes over. But hey, somebody's got to get paid.
Only the strong will survive, baby.
But that keeps you on your toes too. You know what I'm saying?
So you're goddamn right.
Talk about
don't want to get your own job.
We talk about.
We could light that, yeah.
Spark it up.
I mean, this guy, you got work at 10. Yeah. I have work at 12. Oh, what time you got to dip?
Yeah,
like 9:40.
Probably a little before that. I'd like to put some food in my stomach, but
get some coffee?
Yeah, but. I'll stick it up for you guys to smoke your joints, and then we can wrap it up. Or you guys keep going, and I'll dip. I don't care.
What do y'all?
So normally, I don't know. It's just kind of freestyle, but like
wherever the conversation leads. But I wanted to, outside of music, I wanted to ask you this. You're single, right? You don't have kids.
No kids. Yeah.
You've been in this DJ game for a minute. How does how do you navigate the later years of your life? Not the later years, like you're gonna fucking die soon, but as a single man, because I feel like this is the region that I'm in now. I'm a single dude. Maybe I'm looking for a little something, but the nightclub is the worst place to ever find something.
I typically don't date girls that I meet at a club. I try not to, right?
You just smash and pass,
like we're doing right now, but on the weed. Yeah, man. I mean, and the other thing is the good girls kind of look at DJs like, oh, well, he's always in the nightlife.
Yeah.
And he's always just going to be around a bunch of girls. So I don't really want to affiliate with him. Like, I'll hang out, have fun maybe, but I'm not trying to like build a relationship with that guy. They have
for
to
sure.
have a strong, like ability to believe in themselves.
You know what I'm saying?
Confidence.
And trust. They gotta trust you.
Trust.
They gotta trust.
Yes, because
All you're doing at the end of the night is waiting to get fucking paid and watch everybody get kicked out, right?
Yeah.
people that's the thing that people never get that aren't in the nightlife is like the DJ is not like obviously
walking home with like 10 girls.
yeah
fuck all.
yeah, it's not like that at all. And it's like I always say this is like when I was single, you know what I'm saying, as a DJ was like when you want to get with a girl that you see in the club, you're DJing, so you don't really have that much time to spit game to her like that. And then
Unless you
usually
get on the mic.
yeah, and well, if you're on the mic shouting her out, maybe, but that's not me. But let's say this too: it's like by the end of the night, if she's like ready to go, she already went with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? How many times does that happen when you're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck this bitch after I get off, and then it's like 1:30 rolls around. Where the fuck is she at? And it's like, oh, she's up with some other guy.
They always
that's what
leave
I'm
at
saying.
1:30.
Or they want
all in the booth for like 2 hours, like they're your best friend.
exactly, and then they dip.
Yeah.
And that's like the real reality.
That
you know what I'm
is the
saying?
real reality.
That's the real reality. There is a reality of like we can get a lot of pussy if we want. And I personally, I feel like I've had a lot of pussy and I'm like, I'm almost over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the real reality of me where I'm at.
I went through that stage and then I started getting grossed out. Like these girls are gross.
I'm fucking grossed
and
out.
it's like, I just like cleanliness, like, and you see them come up all hammered and shit. And you're just like, that's fucking nasty. You
Well,
know?
I also feel
I'm
like
trying to get paid and dip.
Yeah.
most of these women outside of the
I don't
girls
want
who are
my
just
girl going out every fucking night.
for
Hell
sure.
no.
Most of the girls, other than the ones that are barflies who have nothing else, they're at a chapter in their life when they're in the nightclub. You know, right? And that chapter might be they just got over a breakup,
Yes.
or whatever the case is, but they're going fucking crazy. So it's like really, there's nothing and they don't want to be with a DJ as far as a real relationship. I've had girls that like I wanted to have a relationship with. They're like, I would never date a DJ.
Are you out of your mind?
They're like, I'll
That's
fuck
so
you.
fucking
Yeah, they'll
but
fuck
they
you,
won't
but they're
date
like,
you.
I wouldn't date you. Like you're a whore. And I'm like, bitch, you're the one that just fucked 3 guys this week. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's
I was
rough.
DJing. You came up to me.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a funny dynamic, but
I feel that you start looking at them in a different way. Cause like when you just want to smash them, it's whatever. You're surrounded by hot girls. You're
Yeah.
like, this is incredible. I want to smash all these girls. Then you're kind of like, well, maybe let me see if I could like date someone. Then you're looking around and you're like, there is nobody.
yeah, there's no
dateable
fucking
near,
chance.
You know?
This girl that just hopped from 4 different
And
tables.
then the cocktail girls are always like the hotter ones that work there, but
and then they get knocked up by the barbacks.
Yeah.
Barbacks or
Security.
security. That's usually who they go
yeah,
for.
the security for sure.
Security gets the most pussy.
I mean, do you guys show up early to the gig and like talk to the girls, or do you just kind
Nah.
of show up and like plug in?
I show up, plug in, and play.
At this point, I don't want to talk to anyone who just injected their lips within the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know
I'm
what
all
I'm saying?
about like take the eyelashes off, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's not.
you're pretty as it is. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
That's not what
dude,
you're
these
gonna
girls,
find.
it's insane.
It is
It's
insane.
insane. It's
Well,
literally.
Kim Kardashian took her ass out, so maybe
Did
it's,
she?
She did?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
I kn-
Google it.
I've been seeing a lot of girls
Jamie.
are taking their tits out, and that's like the new thing. Like, be proud of who you are. So I know like
Good.
a lot of girls that are like influencers that are getting rid of their breast implants.
I like that a lot, but now you just have scarred up regular tits.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is maybe
If I gotta
even
look at the
worse than
scars, at
scarred
least
up
have
fake
big tits, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, great, but like,
The smart ones get it through the armpit.
yeah. The
yeah,
smart
well,
ones.
not
go through,
most of them aren't smart. We'll just be honest about that. But I don't know. I got to get out of here. I got to get to work. Are you guys gonna keep going?
It's tough. We could.
I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you.
I don't care. Whatever.
We could. Yeah. Let's fucking roll it. Let's.
All right, but here,
finish this joint. Yeah. Slide over there.
You want the nice? Yeah,
Slide on over there.
Upgrade yourself. All right.
We really. Hey, at the next crib, we're gonna upgrade the desk.
Yeah, bigger desk would be good.
We're gonna upgrade the desk. I think I'm gonna get stands that put the mics here, like the ones that just sit on the table. These guys right here. These.
See ya.
Oh, later, bro.
Later.
Yeah, later.
Don't play your previous history, man.
I will not.
Yeah. So dating. Now we just got 2 single guys here. This could get crazy. Dolo's like the anchor. He's got the girl. He's got the babies.
He's like all set up.
I got no babies. And now that Dolo's gone, I could
Are we for
say
the streets or like I don't know.
I ask myself that all the time. Sometimes I look at myself for a long stare in the mirror and I go, you're definitely for the streets. You know what I'm saying? And you just, I don't know. Do I accept it or do I fight it? What do you do?
It's like you do both, man.
What do you do? I don't know. Well, here's the thing. You have another business. So if even let's say you found a girl that you fucking fell madly in love with and maybe even you wanted, not even that she wanted you out of the nightclubs, you want to get out of the nightclubs more because maybe you want to spend time with her. You don't want to be around all this fucking fake bitches.
I think if I really want to set that up and like do it for real, you know, basically you gotta lay off the DJ and some of it.
I think that's a harsh reality for sure.
It's a reality.
Like if I find a girl that I really decide like, yeah, okay, let me try and make something work, I think I would definitely have to DJ less. I would never stop DJing because it's
no, you
the
can't
best
stop.
thing.
But I've had girls that were like cool with it though. Once they like know who you are, and then you're gonna come home to them every night, they'll loosen up a little bit, and then they get to go out with their girlfriends.
Yeah,
live a little, but I don't know, man. It's just finding the right girl.
It's rough out here, bro.
It's
we're in a dirty pond.
Uh-oh.
Hello? I think it's open. Come in. Is that not Dolo? What's good? Did you not hear me? What's that? It's open. Come in. Oh, my bad. I couldn't hear shit. I fucking things like that. I thought that was fucking my neighbor. Later, brother. The anchor. The anchor came back. All right, so yeah, I'm definitely thinking about making other money. Like that's something that I'm looking for in the future. I want to make some money outside of DJing, outside of nightclubs, outside of all the bullshit. You know what I mean?
What interests you?
I want to do this, really. I definitely want to do something in this field of, I like to be in front of the camera, but I also want to produce podcasts. I want to set up a space where people could just come do their shit. It's like a
studio they come rent.
Studio, yeah, something like that. But more so
you already have it.
I mean, yeah. I just got to get a green screen, honestly, and then I could put anybody in these chairs and make it look like anything.
Bro, I used to do, so I mean, basically, Keelan Foreal came from the movie Blow. You ever seen the movie Blow? And then there's Derek fucking Foreal, right?
He
sold weed and he did hair.
Yeah.
And that's basic. But he was gay though. I'm not gay.
Okay.
Verify that.
I am though, so watch out.
That's okay, bro. It's Pride Month, isn't it?
It is Pride Month.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
We got the Pride fucking Crocs on. Not only are they gay because they're Crocs, but they're rainbow.
Oh, cool. I fuck with the gays are cool, man.
Of course.
You know, but where was I? See, the weed got
Derek Foreal.
Oh, Derek,
you're selling weed.
Yeah.
You're not gay, and you open a hair salon.
Yeah, so I was just doing weeds, DJing, cutting hair. You know what I mean? And then when I opened my salon, dipped out.
I feel like we find a lot of hairdressers in nightlife. Like that's a pretty popular job to have for people that are
hairdressers party, man.
They party, right? Yeah. I think there's some freedom in that job, right? You kind of set your own hours, you have your own clients, you do your own thing. Mm-hmm. So like if you really wanted to party, you could, and then you start cutting hair at 3:00, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, the ones who want to make money still come in early.
Yeah.
The party pros do it and then come to work early. You know?
Okay, the pros. Yeah, the pros.
Yeah.
That's the pros in this business too, is you know, you see those people enter the nightclub life world and they can't drink and party and keep their shit together, and you just know that they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to balance the partying and the working.
I mean, you see them, they're sloppy, dude. Right? They come in all slamming down drinks. And then you wonder, like, what do they do for a living, though?
Bro, I wonder
you see
that
them out all the time. Like, what do you do? I don't know.
It's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of fraudulent characters in nightlife. Some guys that just rack up a bunch of credit card debt and then just kind of dip, and they had fun partying. That's definitely a character.
What about like when the lights come on and just like it's like this whole like ego-driven like club world kind of comes to an end and it goes back to reality?
That I need like a come down off the nightclub. Like after work, I like to go eat. Too. Yeah, I wanna go eat and like still be in a diner and like come down and relax. Because just going straight home from all that partying,
your ears ringing and shit,
and then you're just in a
closed
quiet room is like, it's a really weird shift. I need a little in between.
Energy, yeah. So you'll go eat most of the
time.
Go
eat, yeah. That's how I got fat as fuck.
So I did do that for years, and that's how I lost weight, to stop. I said no more eating after the clubs because you just get everything. You get the queso,
you're drunk.
Chips, you're fucking toasted, man.
Yeah. I got fat as fuck like that, bro. Every night, me and Dolo go. First of all, we went out every night, just whether we were working or not, you know what I mean? We're trying to fucking take over the city. We need to be at every party. We need to party hard. Motherfuckers need to know us. We go out and then we go fucking eat at Griddle 24.
Yeah, no, that's so cool though, man. Still got to experience that. Where were you eating at? What spot?
There was a diner in Chicago called Griddle 24.
And it was like breakfast foods and all that shit.
They had everything.
Why is like breakfast food always the best?
Classic Greek diner. You know what I'm saying? They got the breakfast, little shitty burger.
Yeah.
Greek chicken dish.
And then you see the people from the clubs roll up too. You're like, oh, what's up, man?
Everybody. Dude, Griddle was almost, you could, if you didn't snag a little something at the club, you had a shot at Griddle. That was also a perk, is you were like, well, maybe I could run into someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like one more time. That's like Katz's Deli over here.
Yes, dude.
Same shit.
Yeah. I like cats.
The lot lizards, man.
Lot lizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever heard that one before?
Yeah, that's for truckers.
Is it?
Truckers have lot lizards. I
never heard of that. Somebody said that 2 years ago. I was like, what the?
Like a prostitute that hangs out at one of those truck stops where you got to weigh your shit. That's a lot lizard. She's just sitting in the lot waiting at the picnic table, the one picnic table they have under the fucking Zamboni.
That's funny, yeah. I love nicknames, man.
Vending machines. That's some pretty good weed, I'm going to be honest. We're out here, my boy. We're flying the ship right now. It's me and you.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to talk about.
We're in the pilot seat. Man, it's really whatever, like anything. I mean, for me, shit happens throughout my day and I like specifically try to remember it, or I'll even write it down.
Or write in your notes, man.
I put in my notes. Sometimes I'll tweet like a shitty joke about it or something, you know, and then I'll just go back and look at my tweets. Oh yeah, when that bitch did that, you know. Yeah. You know, probably a neighbor vacuuming, maybe playing Xbox, got mad and threw the controller. Something like that.
So you been making beats on that shit over there too, or what?
I got into DJing through making beats. That's what I did first, actually. I was trying to make like, you know, Ninth Wonder, DJ Premier, I was a big fan of Ant from Atmosphere, like underground hip hop shit, sampling records, and then through that I got into DJing. So sometimes I'll make a beat if I'm feeling inspired, yeah. But
I was making one the other night though, but it's just like, you know, they're hard.
Dude, every time I listen to it and I'm like, I can't get the sound. That whatever's in here that I'm thinking when I'm hearing the sample and all that.
Out into your brain. Yeah.
It's the hardest for me. That's the hardest medium to fucking do.
I'm looking at synthesizers. I've been looking on like Facebook trying to find their old, you know, synthesizers that people have that want to sell. And I mean, the music that I'm liking right now, that melodic house stuff, that's what they're using. They're not necessarily all just using, you know, electronic, you know, Ableton and whatnot. They're
like
using
plugins and shit.
They're using all plugins, and they have this huge studio because the sound's richer, and you can kind of touch and feel the knob. There's something different to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like on the computer, you're clicking it and twisting it there, right? Mm-hmm. But in real time, you can. Yeah. Obviously, you have the knob set on the top. You can use those as midis.
Yeah, but there's something about like the instrument itself. I mean, that thing's gonna have a specific sound. It's got like its own life. Yes. It's got its own. Yes. You know, it's lived. Yes. There's however many years since it was built.
Yes.
In the computer is just like zeros and ones, right? Is that what's in there? That's all that's in there, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Man.
Nah, yeah, but I do like to try and make beats sometimes. I'll do it for like 2-3 days. I'm fucking and then I'm like, this is all bad. It's all bad. But I can't even stop myself from
stopping. Like keep going.
No, from like putting it on my Instagram or something. Like even though like in that moment I'll think it's cool. I'm making it. I put it. I'll post a story, right. Get some fucking traction on the page, keep my DJ career going, all that. And then later I'll listen to it. I'll be like, damn, that's garbage. But I already posted it, and I ain't a bitch, so I won't delete it.
Yeah, whatever, man. Leave it up there. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
You know what I'm saying?
The cool part about making the beats is when you go back and listen to the old ones that you made, a year or two from then. Some of them will be like, all right, that had potential.
Yes. Yes. Actually, the dopest shit is for a minute I was like making something, I throw it together, and then I brought it to Silas and Tanner. I went to their studio, and they would do some shit to it and make it. Some of them they made raw as fuck, dude. The art of mixing, which is something that Silas is really good at, I didn't even knew was a thing until I seen him do it.
Right.
He's like fucking with my shit, and I'm literally like, I made it, and then I'm listening to him do shit to it and completely change it, but just through mixing. He's not adding actual sounds into the waveforms or whatever. I'm high as fuck. But he's just mixing. He's EQing, he's filtering, he's doing all this shit. So it's fucking with the sounds, but it's like, bro, it's like expanding. Like,
yeah, I mean, you have to spend time. Those guys are spending, they're going to be good, man. They spend a lot of time on that stuff. You can't, it's just like a job. You got to put 8 hours into that. And those systems are so big, and you got to break them down,
Yeah.
They're great at it. Yeah, and like you're saying, they can like chop up the track, send it to each other. Like Val's good too, man.
I haven't seen Val for a minute.
Yeah,
but
like, he got his. He's like back. He's back. I think he's coming. He's gonna start coming around.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a minute, but that's actually what Silas told me. He was like, dude,
Val,
yeah.
Like...
He said he's really good, like musically too. He said he could play shit.
Yeah, well, he's talented, man. Well,
yeah.
That's it.
All right, we should wrap it. Let's wrap it. All right, thank you guys for watching the Strategy and Dolo Show, Party with Strategy podcast. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, shouts to Keelan Foreal coming through. This was a great episode. This was fantastic, for sure. I mean, the weed at the end got a little rocky, but that doesn't matter because the whole beginning was incredible. Thank you for coming. We should do this again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And if you guys got any questions or anything, drop them in the comments. Make sure you help your boys out. You know what I'm saying? Get the algorithm sparked up a little bit. Let's get some traction, a little bit of love. Shouts to Brandon Schutz. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.